And now, time for weekly show with a passionate India lover, chairman of ITV Gold and Parikh Worldwide Media. Get ready for loving sharing from physician, philanthropist, publisher, and India advocate in this week. Namaskar. Welcome to this special edition of This Week with Padma Shri recipient Dr. Sudhir Parikh. Dr. Namaste.
Namaskar. Namaskar, everyone.
So we being here in New York, New Jersey, feel special energy during this United Nations week. And today, after the address of India's foreign minister, there is additional excitement. And let me request your response to the way he started off. There is already a lot of conversation happening around India and Bharat, and here Indian Foreign Minister in the United States General Assembly says Namaste from Bharat. So a lot of people are talking about it. Do you see a lot in the use of word Bharat?
Well, I mean, it's a right way of saying, but our constitution also says that India is Bharat.
Correct.
So it's nothing unusual. It means by saying instead of India, Bharat, it's the same thing. And
right.
That's what our forefather meant in constitution. So, but I think it's a nice way of saying, because right now, world quote unquote Bharat is more popular than word India.
Right. So personally speaking, when I used to say Bharat Yatra pe ja raha hu, so people used to say, yeah, it is good to say Bharat, because they were used to saying India. But I think both are the same, yet when you say Bharat, it makes you more in sync with the soil of Bharat ki mati.
Of course, of course.
Yeah. But talking about Bharat ki mati and the kind of terms which are being used by some fringe elements who apparently are pro-Khalistanis, and they are given free way by Canada in the name of freedom of expression. It has resulted into a lot of tension between India and Canada. Talk to me about the current scenario of...
I think Khalistanis are really is a terrorist. Plain and simple word is that they are terrorists. They are kind of anti-social people as far as we are concerned. We Indian Americans are concerned, or India is concerned. And in the Canada, I think Canadian government probably kind of pleasing them because of their number. In Canada, the total population is so small, so their number becomes kind of big number, right? And in Canada also, of course, being a democracy, they are let it have freedom of on the name of the freedom of speech. They let people do protest and everything. But of course, it should not that protest should not be against somebody like burning of the flag of India or cutting of the Prime Minister's
effigy.
This is all the wrong thing. But after saying that it's the wrong thing, it's up to government of Canada to control this thing. Okay, and they should respond to the demand of government of India.
Yeah, so I think you summed it up in your last phrase. They should respect what dossiers are being submitted by India, and it's very strange that Canadian Prime Minister in the Parliament speaks in favor of someone who is declared terrorist, who is in the list of the wanted terrorists from India, as well as that is how Canada has reported earlier. But now he says that Indian government is behind the killing of a Canadian citizen who was a plumber, something to that effect. Now, people are also questioning whether he was actually a Canadian citizen. So, talk to me about how Canadian Prime Minister looks on the global platform when he is speaking in favor of someone who is a terrorist.
Well, of course, I mean, for us, as far as we are concerned, as far as India is concerned, as far as Indian American is concerned, they are terrorists. I mean, there's no doubt about that. There's no other description. But how they perceive is a different story. Just like in the Middle East, the Palestinians are perceived as a terrorist, right, by Israeli. But but Muslim countries, they perceive them as a freedom fighter. So we don't know. But I think here the Khalistan movement is such a small movement. It's a very insignificant movement. They have there is no support in the Punjab itself, and majority of the Punjabis, almost 99% of the Punjabis, those who domiciles in Punjab, India, they don't support this movement. And so I think this movement is more like a nuisance. And now, unfortunately, the Prime Minister of Canada made it a big story.
He made it a big story, and then he talks about the intelligence that he has gathered from Five Eyes, the countries that share intelligence, etc., which leads you to sort of guess that perhaps interception of the conversation of Indian diplomats is taking place, which is also not right as per Vienna Convention, etc. So it's very
no, but I think it's a common practice that all the countries are snooping on everybody, each other. I mean, let's put it that way. And particularly the big country, the so-called big boys like USA, UK, they do more because they think that they're kind of because they are powerful, they are rich country, and so they have right to do whatever they want. Just like a China that does the same thing, Russia does the same thing. So snooping is kind of is a common practice, kind of unwritten practice in the diplomacy.
So again, going towards the way it was unfolded by Prime Minister on the basis of mention that there are credible there is credible intelligence, not even credible evidence, and then they are one blaming India for having its hand, Indian government actually, not exactly one individual, and at the same time they expect India to cooperate in the investigation first. So it's a very ridiculous sort of.
It is ridiculous. Whole thing is ridiculous, kind of. The allegation, the way allegation came out. So I think whole thing is, and hopefully it should die down. Cool head should prevail, and diplomacy should prevail.
Right.
Because this kind of thing should not continue. Because if you continue this thing, then I think eventually it's not good for overall diplomacy and in the peace of the world. You know.
Right, but it looks like Canada has a history of having this sort of approach for almost 4 decades. If you remember that plane which was bombed by pro-Khalistani group, and then they didn't honor the extradition treaty. Now, in the current scenario, quick recollection of the way things have unfolded. Canada made one Indian diplomat leave on the charges of having intelligence work. Same way India also. And then now India has stopped issuing visa to Canadian citizens. So things are heating up at the moment.
But that's not a good idea. I mean, good idea in a sense. That's why I'm saying that kind of cool head has to prevail, and diplomacy has to prevail because there is no end to this thing, for tit for tat kind of thing, and the sufferer will be common people, common citizens. Because now, suppose if someone wants to come from Canada, somebody dies, or somebody's parents die in India, and they want to come to India. They have to take special permission to come because the visa is frozen now.
Right.
All Canadian citizens, including...
Yeah, plus parents of students who are studying in Canada, and there is a large number of Indian students in Canada.
And they're all worried. They're all worried. So I think this is not very pleasant and happy story, and hopefully should end very quickly.
Yeah. So what we hope and what we see on the ground. So right now, there have been statements from White House which are also in support of what is raised by concern by Canadian Prime Minister, blaming India for interfering with its sovereignty, and there are so many instances where people feel from a distance that there are double standards that are being applied. So what America does, say in Pakistan or in some other countries, then it is okay, but now it becomes...
Well, unfortunately, that's called, what do you call, reality of the diplomacy.
Right.
And in diplomacy, there is no permanent friends and there is no permanent enemies. I mean, you can have a great friend today, and the next day you turn around and you see that the person who was praising you will try to criticize you for some other reason. So that's diplomacy. I mean, that's a fact of the diplomacy, and it's an unfortunate thing. So we common people always kind of get more emotional about all this reaction and counter-reaction, but it's not unusual, though it's not very welcome thing, but it's not unusual.
Right. So fast forward in United Nations and on the sidelines, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, the foreign ministers have spoken, say in support of India. And they say that Canada is in the habit of doing something like that. But America's version of their statement, it kind of makes you think, where is America's standing? And sometimes, as you were mentioning about, it is difficult to understand diplomacy. And so when you see everybody at the concluding period of G20 praising India, though that continues, but then they have the critical. But let me bring back our foreign minister's speech in United General Assembly and the words that he chose, and especially one line in which he addressed this Canadian situation also, and he said that political convenience should not determine response to terrorism, extremism and violence, which is exactly what you see is happening. And we didn't mention it, but of course there are some political compulsions of Canadian Prime Ministers to be where he is.
Well, I think I agree with our External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar. What he described, how to deal with the terrorism is we all agree 100% that terrorism cannot be dealt with what you call way of convenience. It's not kind of matter which because today it's convenient to you, so you act this way, and if tomorrow is not, then you act this way. Terrorism is terrorism. Terrorism has to be removed from the world and should be removed from its root. So I think three kudos to our External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar.
Absolutely. And as we conclude, let's go towards that event which is focused on bringing harmony, and that is you are also going to be participating in World Culture Festival happening in Washington DC, organized by Art of Living Foundation, inspired by Sri Ravi Shankarji. Talk to me about how do you foresee, and we also got to talk to him for our viewers about this event.
I think World Culture Festival is going to be very largest culture festival happening in current our memory. They are expecting about 400,000 people attending one or other day during those 3 days program. I myself is attending Saturday and Sunday as a VVIP delegates, and what they are focusing is that world is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, everyone is one, and there should be a peaceful relations between each other, and also they are also promoting a good health by having yoga and other health related lectures, and a lot of who's of the world, different countries are attending it, and I'm sure it will be very successful, and I would wish them all the success. And knowing Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, I am 100% confident that this is going to be a history making, and I am humble and lucky that I will be part of the history making.
Wonderful. And your concluding remarks from today's session?
Well, I mean, dear friends, I mean, there are a lot of things happening in the world, in political level, economical level, as well as cultural level. So we have this in Washington DC 3 days big world cultural festival, which meant to be bring everybody together on the principle of the Vasudev Kutumbakam, and what Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar whole intention is to bring the people together, exchange the good ideas, and make a peace in the world. And that's only way to make the world more livable, more happy, and more enjoyable. So please do so if you can attend either on the in Washington DC or on the TV channel or on the YouTubes or digital channels. Please do so. I'm sure you will enjoy it. And after saying that, I would like to say, God bless America, God bless India, God bless all Indian Americans, and I would like to say, I love you all, and we'll see you next week for next episode of this week, next Sunday. Thank you.